What is generative AI? In this lesson, you will learn what generative AI is and how it's different than other forms of AI, a brief history of Gen AI, what the different types of generative AI are, how generative AI works, and finally, we'll end the lesson by exploring the role prompts play in generative AI. So let's dive in. Generative AI is an artificial intelligence that generates net new content in the form of text, audio, video, images, and more. To work with generative AI, you need to give it a prompt, usually in the form of a text prompt. The generative AI then runs the prompt through its AI model and generates a response. What it means for an AI to generate net new content is easiest to understand when we compare common examples of AI that are not generative AI to how generative AI works. Let's begin by comparing Google Search to Google Gemini, their newly released multimedia generative AI model. Let's say you are curious about the Cubist painting movement. Who isn't? So you hop on over to Google Search and ask it the following: famous examples of Cubist painting. Google Search will leverage its machine learning algorithms to provide you with the best answer it can give from reputable sources on the internet. As you can see, Google Search's AI is able to produce the list of 24 famous Cubist paintings curated from the internet, as well as a list of reputable sources that will provide me with more information. Now, hop on over to Google Gemini and give it the exact same prompt. As you can see, Gemini and its generative AI model are already acting a little differently. It actually goes ahead and provides me with a short description of Cubism that it has written itself, as well as a short list of 5 Cubist paintings it has designated as some of the most famous ones. But now here's where things with generative AI get interesting. Whereas Google Search results are limited to what content already exists on the internet, Google Gemini can create net new content. So I can now ask Gemini to create a new image that looks like a famous Cubist painting. And just like that, I have 4 colorful Cubist paintings. Thanks, Gen AI. But what will it get at auction? Let's compare some other common uses of AI and what generative AI would do in those instances. Regular AI. Netflix recommendation engine recommends to you a new rom-com. Generative AI. ChatGPT writes you a script for a new rom-com. Regular AI. Siri allows you to dictate a text via voice command. Generative AI. A Gen AI Siri writes text for you, reads it to you, and then you approve it via voice command. Regular AI. Google Search provides you with a list of 50 songs about crying. Generative AI. Google Gemini writes you a song about crying complete with musical notes. Here's a song about crying for all you asking. Depending on who you are, you may or may not have been impressed with what I showed you earlier. But no matter. Let's see if I can't convince you that generative AI is a big deal. Generative AI is a big deal because it mimics a type of human intelligence. Let's call it human creativity, that we as humans find quite meaningful. It can paint, it can talk in every language in the world, and even if much of what it does doesn't make a lot of sense or doesn't actually look or sound that good or is even accurate at all, the magic trick is quite impressive. And because it can create in a passively human-like way, it opens the door to automating a whole category of tasks that until now could only be done by humans, but don't necessarily require a lot of actual humanity. For example, it could answer your questions about your company's health insurance policy, or business performance in the last 3 quarters, or write a first draft of a customer support email. Is generative AI really there yet when it comes to truly creative pursuits like writing rom-coms and songs and painting paintings? Like, where does it buy the paint? Or coding? No, it isn't. And it may never be. That said, if generative AI can put a dent into taking care of some of the repetitive tasks that humans at all levels of work have to do on a daily basis, that dent, scaled across the entire world and all the world's economies, the cumulative economic and political and cultural impact is potentially quite large. And that is why it's such a big deal.